All right, I took the, make sure my audio is on. All right, I took the hopper, extracted it out of the install folder so that, got its own folder. Put it in the unpacked folder where the mods are. And we'll load Blender. You just save this. New general. All right. So when I import in the hopper, now if this was Knight Rider, you just import in the car. Let me find the folder, hopper, vehicles, hopper, and hopper DAE, hopper D, there it is, hopper DAE. Now you'll see this thing's got a lot of parts. So we're not concerned about all these parts. And I realize this is not Knight Rider. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a mesh. I'm just gonna make a cube. Yeah, I'll just pretend this is the light. For a moment. I'm sure the mesh probably has already got, some faces. You can easily just in edit mode just pick the faces for the front of that light that's on Knight Rider. But since this hopper is not Knight Rider, we're just going to make one. Make our own Knight Rider light. Yeah, I'll just need to move it. And let's see, move it here. All right, like that. All right. Now I'm sure the light in the car is like partially covered with the hood and whatnot. But I'm just going to stick this light here. Now let's go into photo editor. Use Photoshop, use GIMP, whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to use. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to make a new image. I'm going to just make it 1024 by 1024 so that it's power of 2. That means it can be made into a DDS file. Actually, oh what? Let me scrap that. New. Let's make this only 128 by 1024. That's better. All right, now the base color is going to be kind of almost like a dark black. Say like, actually, let's see, like this. Now for the light, we'll just start it in the center, or close to the center. Now you can spend more time and you can make this look a little better. You can feather it. So it's got a little more of a, fall off. All right, so basically this will be the texture, and the texture will slide left to right, but it'll do a wave so that it'll oscillate basically. So we're going to export it as on the desktop for now. It's fine. I'm just going to call it light.dds. Since it's not a transparency, it's going to get BC1 compression with generate bitmaps export. Back in the Blender, now we just have to do the UVs so it matches up right. All right, since this is a new object we're introducing into the hopper, I'm just going to give it a name. Night light. Actually, let's just make this one word. Night light. I'm going to actually merge it with another part, so it really didn't matter. I didn't have to name it. I don't know why I did that. I was thinking as in making it and adding another J-beam part, but I'm not going to be adding a new J-beam part. I'm just going to be editing this one and adding it to the other existing mesh. Alright, so UV, unwrap, actually, hold on a second. We scaled it so we apply all transforms and we set the origin to the 3D cursor. Edit mode, face, pick that face, UV editor, and then in here, pick shaded mode, give it a texture. I'm going to call it the same thing, night light. Alright, this is where we pick the image, desktop. Get our DDS file here. Now we just have to get our UVs correct because they're not correct. So I'm going to unwrap the UV. Now I'm just going to move them to here and scale them. So we got something like this. Now the sides I wasn't even really thinking about when I was doing this, or the back for that matter, or the bottom. I wasn't even really considering this. So what I'll do is just pick these and I'll just move them off here into the, now that'll be fine. Now back to layout. We got our texture. Now we're just going to basically, we got to go to here to green, to UV maps, and we got to, what we're merging it to, we have to match. We got to match the UV so that it'll merge and not mess up the texture for the other object. So I'm just going to double click, Control C, pick this one, double click, Control V, and I get confused. I think at first you pick the object, then what you're merging to, for it to inherit the object and not the other way around. Join. Yes, that's right. See, it inherited the part there. So it got rid of the night light that I basically named it. Now, this mesh does not have, I mean, the J-beam doesn't have a texture for that light. So basically what we do now, we export the collider, we overwrite the hopper that is in there, let it copy the texture into it because we do need it in there. And now we got to go into the game and create the actual texture. But before I do that, I'm just going to take this texture from this main materials.json and load it, the one from the games car, the hopper, and just add it to it. So it's already in here. Which is to add a texture. We'll go down to the bottom. Where these brackets is, we're just going to put a bracket and a comma and then paste that texture from my desktop, which is not white ball. It'll be, oh, and it don't have that bracket either. It's just going to be night light. Like that. I forgot what did I damn name the actual texture map when I exported it to the desktop. Let me check. Nightlight.dds. So that'll go here. And remember, mods don't have to have locations. Not for the main.materials, that JSONs. As long as the texture's in there with it, with that file, it'll load it. So let's load the game. Let's go into the material editor when we get the game loaded and load up the nightlight material that we just created, because we got to animate it. I don't know how to type in the stuff to animate it, like in the text form, so it's easier to just load the game and do it in the game. So we'll pick vehicles. The hopper. The hopper should now have that new mesh attached to it, which I'm not sure which one it's going to be. I mean, I guess it's any of them. Which that's something I didn't expect to see. Yeah, I killed the material for the whole car. I'm not sure how that happened. Let me check what I damn did. But you see where the new mesh is. At least that got done right. So here's the problem. Look at this. You idiot. You put all them brackets at the bottom. I may have to delete the temp folder, but maybe not. Let's try it and see. Sometimes you screw up like that. You got to delete the temp folder, the vehicles in the temp folder, to fix a problem like that. It makes a cache file. Alright, so our hopper is legitimate again, and there is our no texture. So what is something? No, that's not. I'm sorry. That's not no texture. That is the texture. I'm so used to seeing red, seeing no texture, but that's not the case with this. So we go into the car, we pick the light, we pick the car icon so that when we're in Material Editor, we can get all of our textures that we created. So night light is the Knight Rider light. We go to animate, and we're going to do a scroll animation, and we're going to scroll side to side. Now, this happens sometimes where the damn texture disappears, or you're not actually seeing the animation. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but I'm just going to save it. I'm going to reload the dang car, reload the level, reload the car, and it'll be fine once it reloads. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but it just does. It has something to do with the animate and the buffer and hell, who knows what else. But you see our light now is moving. We just got to make it animate the right way. That's all we got to do. And the right speed. So we pick the car icon. We go down to night light. Go back to our animate, and we go to wave animate. We're going to do amplitude and frequency, and we're going to adjust these until we get what it is that we are, what we want, how we want it. Which I did something wrong with the UV. I didn't make the UV wide enough, so it doesn't have enough room to go where it needs to go. Also, you can tell the lighting to be glow in version 1. 1.5 don't have that, unfortunately. So let me go back to the UV. Now this you can do dynamically while you're actually in the game. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hit Control Z and back up before I merge those two objects. Or actually, I shouldn't even have to do that. I could just go to edit mode now and pick that face. UV editor. Now this is where I just need to basically make this narrower. Alright, let's re-export the Kaleido to overwrite the hopper. Let's switch back to the game, and still not right. It's not moving as far as I want it to move. And the amplitudes is all the way as high as it'll go. So let me try to do it the other way. Let me scale it this way. I mean, this was just kind of like this idea I had. I didn't really, see, that's still not far enough. It's still not doing what I want it to do. I guess with that wave, it's just only going to go so far. Hopper. Why is there a hopper? What is it? I don't know. I'm messing. Alright, that's better. It's a big light, though. It's not quite like Knight Rider, but, you know, hey, it's kind of close. And that's just how, you know, you add something like that. Now, see, the model of the car, the Knight Rider car, it's already got a model of a light. So, you know, all you got to basically do is just inside the game, inside of Blender, I'm sorry, you just pick the faces in edit mode, the faces of just that light. Like, say that was the light there. I mean, even though it ain't, just say it is. You can just separate the mesh, separate mesh, separate by selection. So that way when you're in object mode, it's an actual object that you can assign an individual texture. Now there's another way to do that without having to separate it. I saw the guy do it on YouTube. I forgot how he did it. But you know, then you just basically assign the texture to that part. And you would just edit the UVs. Well, you have to be in edit mode, and you basically pick the faces that you are going to be doing that with. And UV unwrap. Now they're sideways. We'll just rotate them. G, move, scale. And see, now the light is over here where we're just using those faces there. And then we would make sure that the UV maps are the same for both objects that we're going to be merging this back to, which they should be. So we'll pick the object, then the object to merge to, object join, re-export the mesh, and you'll see how it will have light in two spots. Like that. That's all you would do. Now, because of the way the wave works, when you do wave, you have different sin, square, and triangle, and this other one. It's just different ways they pulsate. Amplitude is how far it'll go, and the frequency is how often it'll go. There's also a rotate, but that just ain't gonna look right here. That's not what this one's gonna, but that's what rotate basically rotates it. whereas scroll basically just goes side to side, which you see why you enable the wave is so that it'll go back and forth. It's just the damn, now it seems to be right. Damn, that's what I was trying to get it to do earlier. You just have to fiddle with these till you get it. Oh, apparently this does matter. How much you affect these does affect the other. I wasn't aware of that. So now I see, yeah. So we got Knight Rider Hopper. I shouldn't have said it was real easy. It's not too difficult though. If you want to email me the car, I can do this and email it back. Silver Artist 1975 at yahoo.com.